All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework for finding more happiness in your work, and it comes from a speaker and former architect named Friven. It's a mental model he created to help pull us out of burnout and get us on a path that feels, well, more right. So let's jump in.
So first, let me just ask you this. Do you ever feel like you're being stretched to your absolute limit, pulled in a million different directions at once, and maybe, just maybe, you're getting close to your breaking point? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, trust me, you are not alone. It's a feeling that's practically an epidemic in the modern workplace.
To really get a handle on this feeling, Friven uses this brilliant analogy. He says to think of ourselves like rubber bands. You know, we're meant to stretch. We're supposed to take on challenges and grow. But here's the kicker. What happens when that stretch isn't temporary anymore? What happens when it becomes permanent? And that, right there, is the core of the problem. A healthy rubber band, it stretches, and then it bounces right back. But when you're stretched out to your max, day in and day out, tiny little fractures start to form. You can't even see them. On the outside, you might look totally fine, but underneath, all that damage is adding up. Until one day, with just one more little tug, it just snaps.
And this really shows the two sides of the coin. A healthy stretch is good for you. It's like a good workout at the gym. It's temporary and it actually makes you stronger. But permanent stretch, that's the danger zone. That's chronic, never-ending stress that just makes you brittle. It weakens you and it leads straight to burnout. And for Frivens, this wasn't just some abstract theory.
Yeah, see, the reason this whole framework has so much weight is because it comes from a deeply, deeply personal place. It was literally born from Frivens' own experience of hitting absolute rock bottom.
I mean, just look at this career path. On paper, it's the definition of success, right? A prestigious scholarship, a solid 25-year career in architecture, then he's tapped to go lead a huge firm's office in London. By every single external measure, he was crushing it. But that constant pressure was taking a huge toll that no one could see.
And then in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, that rubber band finally snapped. In his own words, the stress hit like the rock bottom. It was a complete and total breakdown that forced him to stop and reevaluate, well, everything, his entire life and career.
And here's the thing to understand. This didn't just happen out of the blue. Friven has another great analogy for this. It's like a car. You know, if you start hearing a weird rattling noise in your engine, but you just turn up the radio and keep driving, it'll work for a while. But that noise gets louder and louder until one day the car just dies on the side of the road. His burnout was exactly like that, the result of ignoring warning sign after warning sign for years.
So, how do you come back from that? Well, from the wreckage of that experience, Frivens started to build something new, a mental model for recovery, for getting back in alignment, a way to find what he now calls your sweet spot.
So what is this sweet spot? Simply put, it's a map. It's a way to think about your life and work so they actually fit together. Now, you might have seen something like this before. It's adapted from the Japanese concept of Ikigai, but Friven has reframed it as a really simple practical tool anyone can use. It's all about finding that magical place where 4 key parts of your life overlap.
So, how do we find it? Friven's framework asks us to do a little exploring in 4 fundamental areas of our life. Each one is a circle. Let's break them down, one by one.
First up, circle number 1, what you love. This is about pure passion. Just think for a second. What activities really, truly energize you? What are the topics you could just talk about for hours? The stuff you would do even if nobody paid you a dime, just because it brings you joy and makes you feel alive.
Okay, circle number 2, what you're good at. This is about your skills, your talents. It requires a bit of honest self-assessment. What do people always come to you for help with? What tasks just feel easy, almost effortless for you? And this isn't just about degrees or certifications, it's about your natural gifts too.
Third, we shift our focus outward to what the world needs. Now, the world can sound like a huge, intimidating thing, but it doesn't have to mean solving world hunger. It just means solving a problem for someone. It could be your family, your community, your industry. What gap can you fill? How can you contribute in a way that provides real value to others?
And finally, Circle number 4 brings it all back to reality. What you can be paid for. This is where we get practical. We all have bills to pay, right? So this is about looking at your skills and passions and asking, okay, which of these does the market actually value? What are people willing to pay for? This is about making a living.
Now here, this is where the magic happens. It's all in the overlaps. When what you love intersects with what you're good at, boom, that's your passion. When what you're good at meets what you can get paid for, that's your profession. What the world needs combined with what you get paid for, that gives you a vocation. And when what you love serves what the world needs, you found your mission. The ultimate goal, the sweet spot, is that bullseye right in the middle where all 4 of these powerful forces come together.
So this whole framework, it's not about finding a perfect job by next Tuesday. Think of it more like a compass. It's a tool you can pull out to just check your bearings and ask yourself if you're still heading in the right direction.
And really, this all leads to Frivens' most powerful and maybe most important question. Think about it. You're working so hard. You're putting in the hours. You're climbing that corporate ladder as fast as you can. But did you ever stop and check if the ladder is leaning against the right wall? Because all that effort, all that climbing is completely wasted if it's taking you somewhere you don't even want to be.
And that's the question we're going to leave you with. So, what's in your sweet spot? Take a moment. Think about your 4 circles. Are they aligned? Is your ladder on the right wall? Answering that honestly, well, it might just change your career.